Hey, today we're expanding our deck garden just a little bit. I had an extra watering trough that I really don't need and wasn't using. So I decided, like, you know what? Let's expand our deck garden. Okay, so if you've been watching our videos for any length of time, you know that we always grow up here. This is kind of a nursery slash, kind of zone 1 annual type growing area. Well, plus it's a nursery, right? We have trees up here and shrubs and all kinds of other things as well. But we also grow some annuals up here, and we're expanding it. So I'm going to use that. We're going to expand it. And for today, I'm going to show you 2 ways on how you can basically provide all the soil you need in there very inexpensively. Okay, so today's video is about inexpensively filling large containers or raised beds. Okay, so that's a 100-gallon tank. And if I were to put potting soil in there, nothing but potting soil, I would need 9 cubic feet of potting soil. Now, for most of us, we buy bags of potting soil, and 9 cubic feet of it is a lot, right? You can easily be into that $100, easy. Okay, more than $100. Okay, I'm going to show you to get way under that today. So let's get started. For today, we are just doing a kind of a standard raised bed, as opposed to, say, wicking beds over there. Okay, and over here. So our challenge here, again, just like I said, is that that's 100 gallons, and that's a lot of soil that's required for that. If you look at how deep that is. And so the first question we got to ask ourselves is, do we need all of that to be filled with soil? And if you haven't figured it out yet, the answer is no, we do not. So let me explain what we're going to do here. And there's a couple different ways you could approach this. You could turn this into a wicking bed, and you could literally fill the bottom third with other materials and do it that way. But what I'm going to do today is show you not only a good way to save a lot of money, but also what we can do with another waste material. So we're going to take a waste material and turn it into a resource. All right, so the first part of our savings, and probably the best part of all of this, is that we're taking waste streams and we're turning them into resources. We're going to fill that bottom with waste streams, things that would be, well, they could be used in other ways, but for the most part, they would not be used. They would be composted, burned, whatever. Okay, so and those are fine, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it. Okay, so we're going to take, for example, we've got really punky birch down here. Okay, it's heavy, it's kind of waterlogged, it's soaked, and we're going to put it in here. We're going to basically do a hybrid form of hugelkultur. We're going to fill half of this or more, even 2/3, with woody material and some other things that I'm going to show you here real quick. So let's get started. All right, so if we take a look at this, let me see if I can show you this. This is just really moist, wet material. It's falling apart. And you can also see the mycelium that's on there. There is fungi. And the beautiful thing about doing this is that it's going to be material for microbes. I mean, this is going to be a win-win. Not only is it going to soak up moisture and emit or wick moisture away, it's going to provide food for microbial life. Okay, so I'm not too worried about how this goes in or anything else. I'm just tossing it in. And then the next thing I'm going to put in here is I've got some more, a little more birch. Okay, I'm just, again, not worried about it. I've got basic firewood type material. They're just old stuff that's laying around, and we have a lot of firewood. And so, yes, this could be used for campfires. It could be used for a wood stove. A lot of it's pine, though, and we would prefer not to use pine in our wood stoves. If we can, we prefer Doug fir and larch and birch and things like that. But we will occasionally burn pine. But this is not also a great use for these campfire wood. And again, I'm not concerned about stacking it exactly. I just want to toss it in. Okay, just toss it in. And the next ingredient is going to be a little unusual. I think probably people can like see what I'm doing now and go, oh yeah, I get that. That makes sense. This stuff's all going to soak in and provide life or food for microbials and all of that. So that's all good. Now, the other thing, here's another thing we have. Bones. I've got bones, okay? This happens to be from a cow that we processed, but I've got bones. They're going to go in here, okay? The dogs are done with them. Okay, so those bones are going in there. And people might go, bones? That's crazy. The next time you go to look at organic fertilizer, look at the ingredients and see what kind of things you find. You will find them. There also, we have all kinds of things that come in from the forest. The dogs bring them in. That goes into everything. Okay, so what? Heck, there's even a skull that's going into. Okay, now at this point, it's still, it's still not quite full. So I'm gonna stop this video and I'm gonna fill this up more with this type of material. And what I do is I progressively get into smaller pieces. Okay, so as we get a little higher, I'll end up in this kind of stuff. Okay, and then there's also like what else? I mean, like people, we have the bark, okay, from trees. That's going to go in, and all kinds of stuff just like that. That's going to go in here. So let me get some more of that stuff. I'll fill it up a little bit more, and then we'll take the next step. So now the second way that in conjunction with doing this to save money for a raised bed like this is to make your own potting soil. Okay, so remember, we don't want to put regular topsoil in here. We want potting soil. We want something that's light and aerated, that holds moisture and all of that. Okay, so if we were to compare, what would it take to fill this up? So for example, if you go to Home Depot or Walmart and you were to buy bags, the biggest bags of potting soil that you could, potting soil, not topsoil, it probably cost $25 or something to fill that up. Probably about that. I would say that's a pretty good estimate. And then how you can save more money is by making your own potting soil. Okay, so we can see some different materials here. Okay, and then like the key to this, because to be honest with you, if you're not, unless you buy in bulk, you're not going to save a lot. Like if for example, you buy your own compost, you buy your own vermiculite, you buy your own peat moss, etc., and you put that all together, you're not going to save a lot unless you buy in bulk. Okay, but where you do save though is by making your own compost. Okay, so this is our own compost, and we make as much as possible on site. And this is the key to saving more money, making your own compost, and then in turn making your own potting soil. And I do have another video all about making your own potting soil. But that does it. This is what we're going to do, and I'll show you here the final product. Okay, we are complete. You can see behind me, I did actually have a little bit of store-bought stuff left over that I basically capped it with. There's still some space. You'll see some space there, and what that's for is when I actually get ready to put plants in, I'll put a little top dressing of compost just on top of our own compost that we make here. And then I'll put mulch on top of that once the plants get in place. Okay, so compost and mulch. Now, finally, now that we've made this, that's going to be good for several years. Okay, I'm not going to take that apart every year at all. I mean, that soil is going to be good. I'm just going to put compost on top each year and mulch, compost and mulch. From this point forward, compost and mulch. And so it's just maintaining it. And most of that compost and mulch, that's all created here. Okay, so we just have the kind of the initial cost of doing that. And again, you can save a lot of money if you fill up, a big container like that. Woody material on the bottom, bones, uncomposted compost that's not quite done yet as a layer to kind of add bulk to it. And what's going to happen is that most of the plants that I grow up here are annuals, right? This is probably going to be peppers, or maybe it's tomatoes or something like that. And those root systems, they will hit those layers down there They might hit those layers down there, but they're going to do fine. They're going to do fine in there, especially with all those worms in there working now and everything else. So it's going to be great. My prediction is that bed is going to be very productive this year.